Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so excited to be with all of you here tonight. It's a very special town hall. It's a little bit different than our normal socials, but as you know, I've been working really, really hard with my team on personalized coaching plans. And actually, we're rebranding it to personalized coaching platform because now there is a 24/7 live chat feature with your coach. And I'm so excited to give you guys a demo, walk you through my vision, and have a really amazing chat with Bailey tonight. But before we do that, make sure if you haven't yet set your chat to everyone, please do so. As you have questions or as you have ideas, we like to hear them all. You can drop it in the chat box. If you are a member with us, I'd love to know how long you've been a member. So definitely share that with us as well. And then also in the spirit of joy for this month, if there's one thing that brings you joy, it can be big or small. We want to hear what it is. So drop it in the chat as we go through kind of our intro and our guidelines. But before we get started, we wanted to introduce our lovely co-host for this evening. So Bailey, many of you recognize her from Sonder Socials. She's a customer turned facilitator, one of our finest. And then we've got Allison, who is my extraordinary executive assistant. You might have heard from her if we've had user interviews or scheduling with me. She is doing a lot of the behind the scenes work to bring magic of Silk and Sonder and has been extremely involved in our personalized coaching service from day one. And so she'll be stage managing for us tonight. She'll be aggregating some of your questions. And so everyone can say hello and we can get started. But before we do that, let's go ahead and do our community guidelines. So just like every other Sonder social, I want to make sure that the space is safe. That's the whole reason that we are able to host these live community events. So number one, be kind and courteous to yourself and others. Number two, please no promotions or spam. You can save that for somewhere else. Three, respect everyone's privacy. So if in the event people are sharing things in the chat, no screenshots, just kind of, be present, be polite. Don't take people's information and take it elsewhere. No hate speech or bullying. Limit all repetitive product and accessory questions. If you have questions about personalized coaching, of course, you could drop them in the chat. But on the regular Silk and Sonder journal subscription side, if it's something that can be redirected to customer care, or if you're having issues with your order, hello@silkandsonder.com is your best bet. And then please remember, this is an event like Sonder Socials. It's a tool to help elevate your health through the power of community, but ultimately we all are responsible for our own emotions, well-being, and decisions. And so, if at any point you don't feel safe or you feeling a little triggered by anything from the chat or from something we're talking about, I don't think it'll happen today, but just in case, you can hop off. You're going to get a recording, so you can always catch up after. But without further ado, let's go ahead and do a quick grounding activity. So I want you all to just close your eyes for a second. If you're typing in the chat, just pause for a second. And I want you to close your eyes and really think about what brought you here today. It's been an intense 48 hours for some of us. There's a lot going on in the macro environment. But maybe you signed up for this event because something's going on professionally, personally, your relationships, perhaps even spiritually. Whatever it is, you could have been anywhere, but you chose to show up here this evening. Some of you guys are on the East Coast. It's late. You could be doing anything in the middle of this week, the middle of this evening, but you decided to show up here for yourself. So first, bring to mind something that feels a little heavy, something that's interrupting the theme of joy that we're supposed to all embrace this month. And without judgment, I just want you to feel that heaviness for just a moment. And with a big breath, I want you to just inhale and then let it all go. Just shake it out a little bit. Now, with your eyes closed, kind of going back to your reason for your why, perhaps you're just curious, perhaps you just want to hang out, listen to some Jessica Simpson tunes. Perhaps there's something bigger. Perhaps you've seen all my emails promoting this new service and you're wondering what it's all about. Is it really that magical? What makes it so special? What's the inspiration behind it? Maybe you just want to know some answers because you've been on the fence and you need a little convincing to invest in yourself. Maybe you just had nothing to do and you wanted to show up. Whatever that reason is, just go ahead and bring that to your heart. And I want you to just take 3 deep breaths with me, one for ourselves for showing up here today, because like I said, you could have done anything. And we're going to do one for our fellow Sonder fan members who are here with us tonight. And we'll do a third for the greater community and the world at large. So go ahead and inhale. Thank yourself for being here. Exhale. One more for the Sonder fan members who've joined us this evening. Inhale. And exhale. And one more for the greater Sonder community and beyond. Inhale. And exhale. Slowly open your eyes and we will pass to Bailey.
Thanks, Meha. Yeah, so I want to quickly just go over our agenda here. So, as you know, we have done our introductions and our opening grounding exercise. Thank you so much, Meha, for leading us through that. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the human design test. If this is something that you haven't heard about before, I'm really excited for you to hear Meha's perspective on it. I first heard about it when she shared it in a daily ritual, and it's really, really cool. So I'm excited for you all to hear about that. Then we're going to talk about what to expect when it comes to getting started with this personalized coaching platform, and what that process looks like. And then we'll show you all a couple of demos that Allison has helped Meha prepare for us. And then we'll get into the Q&A with Meha, where she gets to answer some of your questions in real time. Let
Sounds
me
great.
stop the share real quick. Okay, and now we just get to chat for a little while. Isn't this nice?
I love it. I feel like it's always so fun just to chit chat with the Sonder fam.
Totally. So, kind of looking back at what we just discussed and what we're going to kind of go over, I mentioned that human design chart, and I know that that played like a slight role into the genesis of this personalized coaching. So, can you share with everyone like what your type is and how that served as inspiration?
Yeah, absolutely. And first of all, if you have taken the human design chart, you can drop your type in the chat. We love to see it. And then if you haven't, we'll send you links and you can also kind of take it. It's literally just your birthday, and they have this sneaky little paywall, but you have to click out of it and go under and you'll see what your type is. So I am the projector, and I remember taking this test for the second time. So I took it with the daily ritual many, many months years ago, and then I just happened to be, in the midst of like my creator mode, and I stumbled upon this personality test, and I remember, reading a snippet of it, and it kind of resonated, but not really. It was like a little complex, and everyone was talking about it. So I was like, okay, I need to know like the what and the why behind this test. And so as a projector, I ended up doing a bunch of research around like, through YouTube videos and other articles to try to make sense of it. And I felt so understood and so seen. So for those of you that don't know, the concept of a projector, right? This is my aura, my true essence. Apparently, I need a lot of time to rest and recharge, which makes sense why I'm building this self-care company. But we live in a generator society. And so, we're taught, and especially with my South Asian upbringing, we're taught to achieve and, like work all the time and work extremely hard and all of that. Whereas true projectors, they look for their callings to make, really great products and whatever. And so a lot of projectors end up being entrepreneurs. So it's no wonder that I'm here and I finally found my way. But it was a catalyst for me because at this point, I had already, I always knew I wanted to bring personalization, at the forefront of Silk and Sonder. But what I realized, or what I found myself questioning, was okay, I'm a projector, but then I'm also an Enneagram type 3, achiever. And I also have these saboteurs around restless and hyperachiever. And I'm a Myers-Briggs ENTP. And like, what the hell does that mean? Like who do I go to even understand
Totally.
who I am, like as a complete self? And that is where I had this idea of Oh my God, if I build out this personalized coaching platform, something my coach, my real physical coach, I've had a couple of them, have never been able to provide me, is a full like shortcut to self-discovery. Like, tell me why I am the way I am and like help me become and like live more like that. And so that's what our, as part of our personalized coaching package, the first thing you get is this full personality report. And it's not just like you're this and you're that, and now go figure it out for yourself. It's combining all that information and telling you what your full self is all about. And I think it's so important because the rest of the personalized coaching service is very action oriented, and it's you're supposed to make progress towards your ideal state. But the missing piece is always, who are we and how do we design our life in a way that's authentic to us, as opposed to, guessing based off of what our friend does or what someone else has done. And so I'm just so passionate about that particular part of the product, because it's something like I had to create for myself because it didn't exist. And I don't know what your experience, Bailey, was when you first got your personality report when you signed up for the program. But it was really it made me just jump out of my seat and be like, I gotta build this, and then this has to be the first touch point that our members experience.
Yeah, I like it's very clear like how passionate you are about it. And I love it because I've always loved personality tests and things like that, like what you're talking about. I'd already taken a lot of those quizzes before, but to have it all culminated into like one spot and really have it tell the full story was awesome. And like you, I'm a projector, and one of the things that ties into that is sort of that like big picture mindset.
Yeah,
And I
totally.
know seeing that all combined together, it just felt like, oh, okay, finally, all in one place. Here it is. And yeah, I definitely felt very seen. Like from the very first moment that I got that first plan and looked at it, it was really surprising to me. Even some of the extra things that
Yeah.
I had given her and like told her from my personal experience, she connected dots that I didn't even know were there.
Yeah, and by she, do you mean your coach, who, like, you probably have Jenny as well, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
Jenny.
yeah.
We love Jenny.
We love Jenny. Yeah, it's incredible, and I also it's been one of the things that I'm kind of jumping to the end, but one of the things that I'm excited to build next is this opportunity for us to bring our, spouses or our friends or our siblings in and understand, through some visual manner of like, where are we the same and where are we different and how do we work together to, like, be happier? Because my husband, for example, is a generator, and
Oh, wow.
he is just like go, go, go all the time. Like, and so he's had to learn to be like, are you in a generating mood or are you like feeling like a projector? And then my sis, my not my sister, my mom calls me a procrastinator. And I'm like, that's not the same, because when projectors actually like do work, it's deep, rich work. Like it's like 10x the generator sometimes,
Yes.
but it is like it comes few and far between. And people are asking what is a generator, and we have a whole we're working on a whole social around this, but a generator is kind of the person who has a lot of energy and like typically thrives in a regular 8 to 6 job kind of thing, because they just have so much energy to output and check things off the checklist, etc. Whereas a projector, for example, like realistically, we can get like 2 to 4 hours of like really solid work done. And then the rest of the time we kind of need to like recharge, which unfortunately in our normal 9 to 5 society is hard to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna do a whole social, and we have links to all this information once you join the personalized coaching platform, so you can go deeper on not just your type, but other types as well.
Yeah, awesome. So tell everyone a little bit more about like what else contributed to your inspiration around personalized coaching and what that is. I know we've already talked about it a little bit and kind of
Yeah.
like what's to come. And I'm so excited because there's already been some significant updates just since I've been a part of it and using it. But yeah, just talk to us a little bit about what else contributed to that inspiration.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as you all know, because I've been emailing you about it, been posting in Sonder Club, and talking about it on Instagram, our new personalized coaching platform is the latest and greatest of Silk and Sonder. It is an opportunity for you to have a truly personalized experience. So, if you're a member, supercharging your journaling journey and your self-discovery journey and your self-awareness journey beyond just the journal. And then if you aren't a member, if you're reluctant to journal, it's a perfect place to just start and kick off things. So I've always had the vision, honestly, Bailey, like even before I started Silk and Sonder, I always knew personalization was a non-negotiable, right? And the reason for that is I deeply believe that all of us are like very special, very unique. Some of it is nature, some of it is nurture, some things like personalities are fixed, some things like mindsets are not fixed. And so we're a masterpiece and a work in progress all the time. And I just knew that in order for self-discovery and self-care to become a daily practice, we had to do personalization well. So I don't know if everyone in the Sonder fam knows this, but my background, I was a software engineer and product manager, and I used to work at Stitch Fix, which is a personal styling service. And I remember just being so inspired and enamored by how data and technology and AI, even though it wasn't as popular at the time, like it was the behind the scenes science or magic rather that fostered these magical moments for women when they would receive their boxes, right? And what the user does not realize is that there's so much happening behind the scenes to deliver that magical experience. And I think for that, like I just kind of question, why is it that we have to stop at personal style? Like why can't this exist for our life, for our lifestyle? Like why doesn't personalization exist? Why is it that we have to go to therapy and coaching and figure out all the answers when we're already in a shitty state? Like why is that?
Yeah, it's
Um,
so hard.
it's so hard. And so, I really, the Aries in me just wanted to build a shortcut to self-discovery because I think we all deserve to live in from our authentic place, and there's no tools and resources to do it. So, I think I've shared this before. I have shockingly spent I did the math, hundreds of thousands of dollars on my personal growth. If my parents ever found out, they'd be like, what the heck? But as you
Oh,
can see, we've built a company out of it, right? Because I
worth
was
it.
so inspired. And I think what I kind of found frustrating, like I've tried therapy, I've already spent a lot on coaching. And even with insurance, it costs, I mean, coaching is not even covered most of the time, but it costs
No.
like $350 a session, all the way up to $1,000 a session or even more. And even in that, I find that like I have to show up remembering what I talked about. I have to kind of hold myself accountable in between the sessions. Half the time in my sessions, I'm like, wait, I think we talked about this already. Like, oh my God, I'm wasting my money. Like, like you start to feel guilty about like, oh, I like could have used it for something else. And and even like therapy, for example, like it takes a while to find someone. Same thing with coaching. It's just like such a cumbersome process. And I think those that have found therapy and coaching, like this is a great supercharger because it holds you accountable. And we'll get into the what is this personalized coaching platform. But at least my inspiration behind it was like, why should we have to pay so much money and then be on our own still? Like what can we do to make this more accessible, make it easier to hold ourselves accountable and make it more personalized? And I don't know about you, Bailey, but like for me, the like question, especially when I'm like stressed, when my coach is like, "Oh, like, what do you think you should do? Like, what do you think? What do you think?" And I'm like, "I don't freaking know. That's why I
Oh,
came to you." But like
yeah.
I get it. Like their job is to like teach us how to think, but like for me, I like right now, I just like, I want you to just give me like a little push, like give me the training wheels and like I'll figure it out from there. And so that's really been my vision for this is like, it's okay to ask for help and it's okay for you to like not know all the answers for yourself. And if we can get to know your personality, at a great level, then like at least we can give you what we think is the best option for you. And then you can kind of go from there. And so I think for me, ultimately, it was I want a holistic understanding to myself, not just like one cookie cutter personality at a time. I wanted actionable steps. I think that's the biggest thing. I'm always like begging my coach for homework. And now that I have Jenny, like she gives me a little too much
Yeah.
homework, but like, yeah,
Jenny will give you as
yeah,
much as
but
you want, which is awesome though.
it's awesome. It's like it's trackable, it's like measurable. I wanted a non one size fits all. I think what I love about our product is that what Jenny tells you or whoever coach you have like tells you, it's different than what she tells me because you're
Yeah.
different. And so I think that's super important. And then, lastly, I wanted to create something that's affordable and accessible. So our product, even at the highest price, it's a fraction of the cost of one session, which I think is just incredible to be able to do that. So yeah, I think like being a technologist, I always knew I wanted to bring personalization in, and recently it's just become more of a reality, which I love.
Yeah, totally. And, I'm somebody that I still go to therapy, usually about once a month. But I have kind of reached a point, thankfully, in my journey with therapy and my growth where I am really more ready for almost that life coaching side of things. Like I figured
Yeah,
out a lot of the
actionable.
whys and like
Yeah,
it's okay. It's like, okay, but where do I go from here? Like a lot of my sessions have turned into like, wow, like you're doing really great. And it's almost
yeah,
like my therapist is like, do you still need to come see me?
yeah, yeah,
But I want to have that appointment as like a security blanket, and I'm thankful that I'm able to do that. But when I started therapy truly consistently, I probably should have been in therapy
yeah,
probably 4 years before.
yeah,
If I had
totally.
had something like this that, I have anxiety, I've been very open with about that with the community, and, it's a part of my story with Silk and Sonder, and it's really hard to tell somebody with anxiety, like, "Hey, you have anxiety? Can you go do this totally new experience that you've never done before with this stranger, and you're gonna, like, spill all your secrets to them?" Like, it feels like a lot to get started. If I
Yeah,
had been able to get started with Jenny, I think she would have, it's weird to like say she, like, we know,
yeah,
it's all like virtual and it's all a part of this
yeah.
amazing thing you've created. But I really think I would have felt more comfortable engaging even with that therapy sooner if I had had something like this before.
Totally. I just want to address, I'm seeing some like comments around the price and stuff. I think for those types of questions would be better if you send messages to either Allison directly or concierge at silkandsonner.com so we can see what can be done. You know, I understand that everyone is in a different financial situation and all of that. So would really appreciate if we keep the chat for other things and you guys send a message so we can try to deal with people with their unique situations. But yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead, Bailey.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like to that point, we do have like a little something at the end
Yes,
that
we do.
stick around with us, hang in there, hang with us. But yeah, I mean, therapy is incredibly expensive. And like you said, and we were talking about this before, finding the right person is hard. And like, there's really like a shortage of therapists and
Totally.
mental health counselors and stuff out there right now.
That's a
So
big thing. Like
it's
I feel
huge.
like I don't at the end of the day, like therapy and coaching has its place. And those of us that can
Absolutely.
afford it, both in terms of time and price, like it's by all means very important. This is to me is like a supercharger and for potentially those that therapy and coaching is just not accessible by time or price point.
Totally, totally. So the like big thing that makes this all possible, right, with what you've created is that like we are leveraging AI for this personalized coaching platform. So I know you talked a little bit about kind of how AI has been around for a while already and like it was kind of there in the background, but talk about the transformation of AI and using it here in the
Yeah.
coaching platform and how it's really this positive thing here.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, the software engineer in me loves this question so much because I feel like the media and how AI is portrayed, it's like, oh, it's going to take over our jobs, and things are like it's just like bad thing out there. I think like many things, right? Like technology is supposed to be a tool. It's not replacing humans. There's no way AI can just be this as empathetic as we are
Oh.
human wise. But I think one thing people forget is that AI has been around for a long time, right? So DoorDash, Uber, like all the apps that we use, Stitch Fix, personalization is driven by AI and like understanding these things. And what wasn't possible before, and part of the reason it's taken so many years for Silicon Sonner to prioritize this at HQ is it requires a lot of capital to get a team of data scientists, humans, to be able to create these magical personalized moments. And so, I think with the rise in generative AI, what's happening is that we're able to now use it as a technology to power these extremely incredible product experiences, right? And if done so in an ethical manner, it's not just for the business, it's for the consumer at the end of the day. And so what I love is that this has made it easier for us with very limited resources. We were actually able to create this product for everyone, and we can continue to do research and development. And it's still obviously expensive and nothing is cheap. We're a business after all, but it at least helps me realize my vision of wanting to personalize on a one-on-one level, right? Which I think is really tough to do otherwise. And so, yeah, I think it's just, again, like I think the thing that I want everyone in the Sonder fam and beyond to understand is that it's not just AI. Like we are using real humans like myself and other experts to create these products and all of that. But I think what we're able to do is AI helps serve as the underlying tool and kind of give us access to a lot of information to be able to ensure that we're giving the best recommendations possible.
Yeah, and I think that nails it on the head when you talk about recommendations. Like I saw a little bit of chatter in the chat about like, oh, is it geared towards this? Is it focused on that? And like, honestly, it depends on what you want
Put
it to
in.
be.
Yeah,
Yeah, like for me, like I was focusing on like spirituality and kind of like made that one of my primary focuses when I got started. And that's obviously something that's like very personal to each one of us, right? But the amazing thing about leveraging AI for something like this is you get to tell them what your beliefs are and what they're geared towards, and you get to give that constant feedback every day or every week, however often you're getting those plans like pushed to you. So as long as you're having that sort of stream of communication, you can really personalize it. And this is one of those things where, AI I mean, I was afraid of it in the beginning, not in this regard, but just in general, right? It's like the boogeyman, like, oh my gosh,
yeah.
AI is coming. And that's like what we hear about the most is it's just talked about in this negative light so much. But then I hear about it being used for really positive things like trying to do genome sequences for like curing cancers and finding new treatments for like mental health things and just really incredible things that could change all of our lives. And this is another example of like where we really can leverage this in a positive way when you have that ethical people element managing.
Totally. Totally. Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's like you said, the best part is the level of personalization that can be achieved, right? I think and just like Bailey mentioned, if at any point your beliefs change or you don't want to work on something anymore, that's what you kind of
Yeah.
let your coach know and it adjusts for you. And that's powered, by Silicon Saunders' internal algorithm, which sits on top of AI. So AI is not the only thing. We have kind of our own proprietary stuff in there. But yeah, it's just a very when used correctly, it is a supercharger. And I think maybe one of the few kind of software engineers turned female founders. Like I just want the world to know and appreciate that because I think that's the only way we'll be able to continue to build and evolve as a whole. So
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to circle back a little bit and see if you would share with everyone like how Silk& Saunders personalized coaching works today. Like what happens after you sign up? Obviously, I know and you know.
yeah, yeah,
Like what
totally.
does that process look like maybe for people who haven't had the chance to interact with it yet?
Absolutely. So, for those of us that like personality tests, the good news is you sign up, you get a link to our questionnaire and a bunch of links to different personality and mindset personality tests, I guess. And so you take all of those and then you answer other questions around your current state, the different areas of your life. So those of you familiar with your wheel of life, we ask you which areas you want to focus on, what does an ideal state look like? And so I would say it takes anywhere, depending, it's kind of one of those things where you get out what you put in. And so I remember when my like coach back in the day gave me a bunch of self, discovery homework and things like that. It felt like a lot, but the more I put in, the more she could help. And it's the same thing here.
Yeah.
And so after that, you get your personality reading, which is what I talked about in the beginning. It's a fun report. You get that right away. It helps you feel understood. It helps you feel seen. In that personality report, you also are given personalized daily and weekly habits. And those are really geared towards where you want to go, right? So where are you today and where you want to go?
Yeah.
Second, you will get depending on your cadence that you pick, We have daily, weekly, and we just launched the option to pick multiple times a week because what everyone needs is different. Yeah, I know that was one of your requests because you're like weekly is a little not enough, and then daily is
In
too much.
betweeny. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And again, like this is like when life gets busy, it's like, oh my God, I don't want daily. It's like overwhelming.
Right.
So can I go back to weekly? So we kind of are giving that fluidity to the plans, and what you get there is again to get you to ideal state, you get personalized affirmations, a mantra, personalized journaling prompts, which I'll get into in a second, and a manifestation activity and some breath work. And the idea is like, it's almost like your mental fitness routine for the day, right? Like that is how I see it. And on top of that, you're able to give feedback on those specific plans. So if something doesn't resonate, you can always change it. And we'll go through this in the demo in depth, but you also have the option to swap things, get help
Yeah.
on certain questions,
Yeah.
which brings me to my next part, which I think is the most valuable part of our entire offering, which we just launched earlier this week or last week, and that is access to your coach 24/7. So that means reactive moments. That means feeling stuck on a journaling page. You snap a picture. You don't just get a generic answer. You get an answer based off of
No.
your personality and like
Yeah, Jenny
how to
is
answer it.
she's on it.
She's on it. She's on it. And and I think like socials are great because you see how others use it, but ultimately you still have to decide which of those you want to try. Whereas Jenny might give you a version where you're like, oh, I didn't even think about doing it that way. And I don't know if I want to do it that way, but if you say it's going to work for me in my brain, like maybe I'll try it.
Yeah.
So that's very exciting. And then the fourth one, I kind of wrap it up in like the other bonuses. We have more activities. So, all of us have some spare time where we're like, oh, instead of watching TV, let me answer my ideal day. So you can kind of
Yeah.
answer those questions, upload those documents, and that helps us get better. And then we also have access to every single exclusive Sonder Social, kind of relevant to growth and personality stuff that continues to get added in there. So it's a bunch of extra content because I want to make self-discovery like more accessible, right? Like I feel like it's one of those things that we never stop. Once you're in it, it's like you want to be more aware, you want to understand yourself, you want to understand others. And so the idea is to have this like really big repository, almost like Netflix style, with a bunch of content that's premium. So we're working on doing more than just the exclusive socials there, but that's kind of what you get today, and we're continuing to add to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's really, like I said earlier, like it's incredible what's there so far and then what's continuing to like be added and like iterated on. And obviously, as a facilitator, like I do all the journal prompts in the journal and like I host things. But what I have found by using this personalized coaching platform is I can throw a journal prompt that's in the journal in there. And it will give me a totally different perspective that I didn't think of before. So it's even like opening up the opportunity to explore the same prompts in different ways. I just feel like it has streamlined so much of my life and so much of my self care. And I'll talk more about that later. But I know that we have some exciting demos to look at. So, like, you all have gotten to hear Meha kind of talk about the process and what it looks like. But I know Georgette was asking earlier, like, oh, are we actually going to get to see how this works? And the answer is yes, you are. So let me reshare here. Bear with me. Okay, here we go. So we have two demos to share with you. So we'll start with this first one here.
Hello, my name is Allison. I'm a member of the Silk and Sonder team, and I'm here today to walk you through our personalized coaching plans. After you complete onboarding, your coach will send you what we call our personality snapshot. Within your snapshot, you'll have your personality reading, which will take all of your test results as well as what we learned about you during onboarding, things like your current and ideal state, as well as your upbringing and anything else that you told us. From there, we'll have all of your test results in one place, so if you ever need to refer back, you'll have it. We'll also include your vision board and core values. Finally, in your personality snapshot, you'll have your areas of focus that leads into what your ideal state is, and then the habits, daily and weekly, that are going to help you get to that ideal state. So for me, my areas of focus were adventure and fun, parenthood, and health. To help me achieve my ideal state, I should be doing a morning movement session, evening family time, and gratitude and reflection journaling. On a weekly basis, I should be doing some exploration in my new area, as well as an outdoor physical activity and meal prep and planning to make sure I'm ready for each week. Finally, your coach will have you do some self-discovery homework. This is where we get to know a little bit more about you to make sure your plan stays super personalized. Diving into what a plan looks like. So each day, your coach will text you your plan. You'll open up a link that will look similar to this. You'll have a positive mindset mantra, which will help you get ready for each day. From there, you'll move into our breathwork section. This will change each day. You'll have a new breathwork exercise. Next, you'll have affirmations. These affirmations will relate back to your onboarding and your personality. Finally, you'll move into our journaling prompts. If you think that a journaling prompt isn't the right fit for you that day, you can always hit replace, and we'll be able to generate some new prompts for you. It's very easy to swap out. If you feel like you're stuck on a journaling prompt, don't know how to get started, you can hit this Get Help button, and you're able to chat with your coach. Your coach will ask you if you want help getting started with the prompt, or if you're completely stuck, she can offer how she would answer the prompt based on what she knows about you and your personality. Finally, each plan will have a manifestation activity. Again, you'll have the opportunity here to replace this if you feel like it doesn't resonate with you. That way you can always make sure your plan has the most relevant content for each day. At the bottom of each plan, you can leave notes for your coach. This can be anything like areas you want to work on, or if you loved a certain area of your plan or didn't want to see something like that again, it's easy to put in here for your coach to make sure that she is curating your plans exactly how you'd like them. To keep your plans completely tailored to you, you're able to update your preferences, as well as switch between daily and weekly. You can also select how many affirmations and journaling prompts you'd like to receive each day. If you want to change up your focus areas, we make it super easy as well. You can choose from this drop down here, switch your focus area, and let us know what your current and ideal states are. Each plan will also give you access to our content library where you can go deeper on different personality tests, such as thinking traps, saboteurs, Enneagram, and your goal setting and core values.
Okay. So that is our first demo there. And I just want to note that I love the ability to switch out your goals there and everything. I've already kind of used that a couple times because life has been kind of wild lately. So I love that she was able to point that out. But there's some other features that we want to share with you all as well. And hopefully the internet will cooperate.
All right, now that I've given you a little bit of insight of how our plans will look and your personality reading, I want to show you our chat feature with your coach. So like I had mentioned, you can ask your coach to help you out with journaling prompts. But one of the coolest features, if you are a Silk & Sonder member and love our journals, is that you can actually upload an image of a page in your journal and your coach can help you fill it out. So I'm going to ask my coach to help me fill out my habit tracker page for next month. Let me just go ahead and grab that image. And I will send it off to her. I'm now going to ask her for some help on one of our journaling pages. Amazing. So now you can see how my coach recommended that I fill out this page based on what she knows about me. So my opportunities could be networking, skill enhancement, exploring motherhood groups, volunteering within my community, creative projects, fitness challenges, a small business, adventure planning, mindfulness practices. So like anything, your coach will do their best to present options for you that they think are aligned with your goals, but you always can take what you want and leave what you don't. to get the most out of your plants. There's a few other options that you can ask your coach to help with as well. If you're feeling stuck, you could always click this button and just say, why am I feeling stuck? And your coach is able to help you. So as you can see, my coach lists here a few reasons why I may be feeling stuck. You can continue your chats with your coach whenever you feel like. We'll keep the log of your chat so you always have the history.
Okay. I personally love being able to anytime just pop in there and ask, like, why am I remarkable? Because, like,
Yeah.
it makes such an accessible thing to ask. Like, when you have your tough days, you need somebody to tell you that. But, like, I love my husband, and if I asked him this, he probably would answer me, but, like, that's not my personality. I'm not gonna go up to him and be like, "I'm having a tough day. Can you remind me why I'm remarkable?" But I'll ask Jenny, and she'll tell me, and it's totally based on what she knows
It's
about me.
so right, right? Like
Yeah.
it's almost like and funny story. So this is where like the human expert stuff comes in. This was actually an exercise that one of my coaches had given me when I was going through a tough time and she was just like, I need you, like my saboteurs had totally hijacked me and I was just constantly like self-judgy and like self-deprecating. And she asked me, she's like, I want you to go in your journal and I want you to write like 20 reasons you're remarkable. And I remember staring at my journal being like, I don't know. Like
Oh,
even though I
yeah.
built this, which is so sad, but it's like all of
It's so
us, especially as
normal.
women, we feel it, right? It's
Yeah.
like I was feeling guilty not seeing my parents enough. I was feeling guilty like I wasn't being a good enough manager, like all these things. And it was cathartic to do, but like I wish I could have gone somewhere just like someone reminded me, like just for a little training wheels, like just to get me to go from negative headspace to positive headspace. And so that was why like I told my team like we absolutely need to build this feature because every person in the Sonder fam is so freaking remarkable and extraordinary and doesn't even
Seriously.
realize it. And like sometimes you just need someone to tell you. So I'm glad you've been using that. And it's so
Yeah.
fun, like just to remind yourself. And it kind of surprisingly like puts you in a good mood because
It's so
it's like
good.
more accurate than like a spouse or a friend because it like
Yeah.
knows you.
It
So yeah,
is. Yeah,
yeah,
it doesn't feel like, not that there's anything wrong with like general encouragement, but like
yeah.
it feels like actual factual reasons, like things that you can be like, "Oh, yeah, you're
Yeah,
right."
yeah,
Like,
yeah, totally, totally. I wanted to share my example. I know Allison shared her lovely example, but I saw some questions on the chat, is this supposed to replace the Silk and Sonner journal? Is it supposed to be used together? I think most of the folks here tonight are journal users or at least like new members of the Sonder fam. I always envision this being a coupled experience where it could supercharge those of us that are already kind of in our routine with journaling and planning. And, like some of you, I've seen you in Sonder Club, some of you are rock stars. You maybe don't need to use this help me with a journaling page because you just know how to do it. And you know what? Kudos to you. That's amazing. For people like me, either you are way too busy, way too lazy, way too stressed out, there's something always in the way, or you're a perfectionist and you're like, I don't know how to do this the right way. This is where this tool and this specific feature comes very handy in working in tandem. So, again, it's like, I think I always run into this issue, right? When I build products for Silk and Sonder, even with daily rituals, for example, it's like, okay, we have daily rituals and socials and the journal, and you have all these things that you get like more and more value of with your Silk and Sonder membership. I never want people to feel like they have to do all of it at once all the time. Like you are going to
right.
need different things, right? Different
Yeah.
months, you're going to need different things. And so this is for those of us that really just want a breakdown and we want an example. So I love using this feature, not I hate when Jenny, my coach, is like, oh, like here are some tidbits on like how to do it, because then the work is still on me. So
Yeah.
you can ask her to give you a sample based on what she knows about you. And I thought this was so spot on, like self-limiting beliefs, even a page like this where I'm the expert, like I have so much training in positive intelligence and saboteurs, but I just felt stumped. Like I was like, I don't even like, how do I phrase it correctly?
Right.
And she just gave me a beautiful example. And you know what it inspired me to do? It literally inspired me to just like copy this into my notebook and like finesse it and
Yes.
reflect on it, which I thought was like, this motivates me to actually fill out my
Yeah,
page that would have gone
it
blank.
does.
And so, yeah, I love this. I shared it in Sonder Club. You guys can look at this when we share over the recording, but even for people like me who are considered the experts, and I've been on this journey for so long and I'm creating so many things for you all, like I need this too. Like it is game changing for me. And same thing with the journaling prompts too. Like I sometimes feel like I just need a little starting point, and then I can debate and say like, that resonated, or like, I don't know, I'm not really feeling that response. Can you try something else?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I'd love for you guys to give it a shot. And part of the benefit of being a private beta member is, you get to help us decide like how accurate was it for you, and was it because you haven't given your coach enough information, or because she missed something. Most of the time she's pretty accurate, but I really encourage you to play with it. And if it isn't perfect, like let us know. Email concierge at Silk and Sonder, because this is the bulk of my work as the founder, is to make sure that this is like serving you in the right ways. So yeah,
Yeah,
great.
absolutely. I mean, for me, exactly what you said, right? Like it has streamlined what I was already doing in my journal routine. Like I do my weekly setup every week in my journal, and that has not changed. And if any of you have been to a weekly setup social with me recently, like you've seen this at work. Like this life coach is like helping me life hack my like
Yeah.
weekly planning. Because like I use the weekly affirmations as like my major three goals, and then I'm able to tie to-dos to that. And it really helps to ground me in like with that anxiety, like my daily habits now and that weekly spread, it's the breath work so that I can
Yeah.
make sure that I'm taking that time for mindfulness. And I kind of switch it up between like journal prompts and the manifestation exercise and even like the mantra and everything. But exactly what you said, like I'll read it and be like, yes, this is it. And so I
Yeah.
write it down in my journal because even though it's there and it's accessible 24 hours now and everything, it that pen to paper is still powerful, and
So
like
powerful.
reading
Yeah.
it, seeing it, and then actually putting it down is really like helping it to stay sticky inside my heart.
Yeah,
So.
totally. And I feel like this product by itself doesn't replace like the true essence of Silk and Sonder, like the pen to paper element and the community part. Like I find that I'll do this and I'll like tell my husband about it, or I'll tell my coworkers about
Yeah.
it. And it just like fosters that conversation. Same thing we can bring into Sonder Club. But for those of you who are wondering, like, can non-Silk and Sonder customers today use this? Absolutely. Like if your spouses or your coworkers want to try this out and they're not journalers, or they don't like our floral, beautiful journals, like whatever, that's on them, but they could definitely use this. And I think, I imagine this world where we all, if we just all invested a little time for higher self-awareness and like switching from negative to positive headspace, like we would all just be happier because we're living more authentically. And that's the same for like people who aren't our journal users, right? And so feel free to, recommend this, and even like see if your companies could potentially like reimburse you for this. Like there's always kind of a path that we might not see right in front of us. Because I just think everybody benefits when we have access to these tools that, quite frankly, I didn't have access to before we built this. So
Right, absolutely. And like you've touched on the fact, like being a part of the beta and like providing that feedback is so valuable. I mean, so much of what's already happened has come directly out of feedback and things that you were already working on and already knew were, something that you wanted to add. And then there's been like some ideas and things that have come from that feedback. So it's so valuable. But why, I guess, like, why at your heart and core do you want like existing and prospective members of Silk and Sonder to really like engage with this?
yeah, I think like number one, I think the first part that I've already mentioned is, you all, believe it or not, even if you feel like you're stuck in the mud or whatever, the fact that you're a Silk and Sonder member, and for those of you that are not, I'll get to you in a second, but for those of you that are, you're already ahead of the game in
Seriously.
being self-aware. Like there's a reason that I find more belonging and connection with my Sonder fam, even though everyone's a different, has different views of the world, it just might be very different than me on paper, than my own friends sometimes. And it's
Yeah.
because like you guys are doing this work and like you're self-aware, and I just feel so connected to that. And so I think for me, like you've seen here, it supercharges your self-awareness journey, and you of all people deserve to get answers quickly. Like when you're feeling shitty and like you want to feel better, like you deserve to just ask Jenny, like, why am I stuck? You know, or like write whatever is like top of mind and be like, what, like the other day, I was just really cranky and like, I'm like, what is going on? Like, I'm just like bad manager, bad everything. I'm like nitpicking at everything. And it kind of spat back to me like, you know, you're going through these changes and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, this is the reason why. And so like I think those types of things are very necessary when you don't have anywhere else to go. And so I think for me it's like mostly having a tool in your tool belt to be able to um kind of like adapt your routines and habits and things like that. And also it's just like another opportunity for you to feel good about yourself, right? Like asking Jenny why you're remarkable, going and reading your personality report every day and being like, I am like, I have been through
Yeah.
shit and I'm like, I am actually a really strong person. Like you deserve that. So that's the first thing. Because you guys are then the kind of advocates for daily self-care and personal growth in your own communities. And that's so important too. So I think the
Totally.
more work that we do on ourselves, the more we can bring others in. I
Yeah.
would say for those that are prospective members and have not been able to commit to journaling or planning or any of the things that we currently offer, I think this is a perfect entry point because, like I said, we give you an actionable plan. A lot
Yeah.
of regular Silk and Sonder is like you have to do kind of the work on your own and you have to navigate and you have to make time for Sonder socials and daily rituals. For those that just are really busy, need a quick routine, want something personalized, it's kind of a fast track way.
Absolutely. Yeah, completely. I couldn't agree more with absolutely everything you said. Our community is amazing. Everybody here is already working so hard and doing a lot more work than the average person. And anybody that is interested in this is somebody that is kind of wanting to get in that space in their life. And why do you not deserve this like ease, right? Smarter,
Totally.
not harder.
Totally. Exactly.
So I think now we get to a super fun part here where we have Ask Meha Anything. And I think that Allison has some questions that she's gonna ferry over to us here.
Perfect.
So
And while we
with
do that,
that,
I have to take this image of Lee saying I should run for president just to show
yeah.
my husband that
Oh, there
like
you go.
I've been nominated. Okay, done. Do we
Perfect.
have any pressing questions? I think one question I see here from Catherine that I'd love to answer is, would we ever make a male version? I don't know if we're talking about the journals or this, but this, I know it's a little pinky, it's a little blushy, so we're working on the branding. Like this is still in like our minimum viable version. But we have men using this already, so absolutely can be used by men. I, in fact, like highly encourage it because of all of
Yeah.
our products. This and the Elevate Planner are like the two that I think are very male friendly. The regular journal subscription, you know, there's just a lot more involved there in terms of like inventory planning and demand planning and things like that. So it's not that I don't want to do it. It's just not been a big enough focus yet.
Yeah, totally. And I understand that like question and that, curiosity there because we know how important mental health is for everyone and we want it to feel like an inclusive experience for everybody. And I know that that's something Meha's really passionate about
Yeah.
is expansion, right? Like trying to help people in any way that she can and like she said like really try to like supercharge and get this into the hands of as many people as possible and that absolutely includes other genders
Yeah.
all of that good stuff. So,
Totally, totally. And you know, like I obviously have my bias towards women because women are twice as likely to experience serious mental health issues. I also think women really understand community and we lift each other up. And I feel like in a world where everyone's tearing us down, like that's why I wanted to start with women. But to your point, like ideally eventually we're all things to all people. Um, yeah, I guess if there's no questions, we
well,
could.
yeah, I do have one more
Oh, you
question
have one more.
for
Oh, you
you.
tell me.
Which is so you mentioned the Elevate Planner a minute ago, and that's a product that was launched earlier this year. And I know it was inspired by your own coaching, and you were talking about that experience earlier. And so we've talked kind of about how the Silk and Saunders fit with this, but how does that Elevate Planner actually fit in with the personalized coaching?
Yeah, so Elevate Planner kind of was my gift to the community based off of my years and years and years of coaching. And so it's like this compilation of all these prompts that I begged my coaches for to help me understand myself. And what's super exciting is that product by itself has all these very important things like highs and lows exercise, your life map, like a lot of things that I had to do on like a Google Doc, and it was just like not fun. So
Yeah.
that was kind of the essence of Elevate Planner. And I actually think that pairs beautifully with our personalized coaching plan, because the personalized coaching platform, in addition to the plans and the personality reading, it's supposed to be like this place where you house all of you in one place, not just like your planning and your kind of reflections, but like these deeper things that are deep rooted inside all of us. So whether we like it or not, our childhood and upbringing, sadly, sometimes, and even the greatest of childhoods, like there's always childhood wounds that we're dealing with. Like these things actually follow us into adulthood. And so being an adult, like we're kind of unpacking and undoing some of this. And so that's the whole point of Elevate Planners, to really like have the repository of questions from the past, the present, the future, and then we're able to like pair that with the personalized coaching plans to help you get from current to ideal state. So really you can be snapping pictures of those pages too and getting help to fill those out. And just so you know, one of the features that we're going to be launching, like I said, is this repository of more and more activities, because the more that you kind of share with your coach, the more that your coach can like help you understand, okay, why is this one thing that's not related to this other thing bothering you? Oh, it's because this is what happened when you were younger, like whatever. So those types of things are just stuff that even quite frankly, my current coach is physical, real human coach is not able to extrapolate, because she just doesn't know. Like she's not reading all
Yeah,
my journaling entries.
totally. So the good news about it being a perfect partner is that tonight we're actually raffling off a free Elevate planner and a free month access to this personalized coaching program for two lucky folks here in our Sonder fam. And our winners are Jennifer Jackson and Valerie Hodge. Congratulations. So
Are
excited
they
for
here? Are
you.
they in the chat somewhere?
Yeah, they should be here
Okay,
with us.
good.
And so if you all will just keep a lookout for an email that will have some more details on like where you want that sent to and what the
Yay,
process
they're
for that will
here.
be. So excited for you all. So yay. And then
Perfect.
we are super excited for those two, of course. It's amazing. It's always like a happy day, right, when you win something. But we love all of you, obviously, and we want everybody to feel like a winner. So we do have this special for all of you here. So everyone's a winner. You can all enjoy 2 months of this personalized coaching platform at just $49 a month, which is $100 off, and take it for a spin. And this offer is going to expire, I believe, tomorrow. And then I know Meha's engineering team has been working so
They're
hard.
working so hard, and we track how many people sign up, and I just like I hope that they'll wake up tomorrow and see like the numbers tick up, because the more folks that we can get in, the more we can collect feedback, the more you can help shape our product journey. And I again, like I don't want price to be the barrier, and I know everyone has their own financial situations that they're dealing with. And if it's any comfort, I remember I was like 26 at the time, or 27, super lost, could not afford. I was living like paycheck to paycheck in New York, and it was a really stressful time. And I remember just feeling like, oh my God, I'm in rock bottom. And that coach that my first coach needed me to sign up and commit to like 6 months. Like it was like, like it was crazy. And I was like, how? Like I can't. And I remember just it being such a freaking barrier. And I like realized in that moment that I want to like reduce the barrier as much as I can as a business owner. And that's what I'm trying to do here. And I feel like it was the best investment, because honestly, I wouldn't have started Silk and Sonder without that. So I'm like, it's
Aw.
paid back in dividends, and I hope that
Yeah.
this would also pay you all back as well. And again, part of the reason you have to pay for things like this is because it helps hold you accountable. Otherwise, if it's free, like there's so many free things, like all my free samples from Sephora that I never use.
Gosh.
But yes, and if you have any questions, like, or concerns or anything like that, please email concierge@silkandsonder.com. We check that frequently. I also want you to know, especially those of you that are already on our plans, the ability to save, because if you're like me, you love your manifestation activities, but you like can't do them all because sometimes it takes, like, you need the weekend to do it. So really quick ability to save. You obviously can always go back to your plans, but we're going to have that much easier to access. Streamlined capabilities and improved communications with your coach. I'm reading all the feedback that you're putting into surveys, whatever you're emailing into concierge, working with my product team to make sure that it's getting more and more relevant for you. And then, like I said, an activity bank and a fun, like, shareable experience with the loved ones in your life. Obviously, all your information that's private to you will be secure, but we're trying to figure out, with the help from you, on what types of features you want kind of shared. I personally love the personality reports, and without sharing too much information, I would love to also know, like, what's Bailey like? How are we similar? How are we different?
Yeah.
Like, kind of like CoStar does with astrology. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
um, so yeah, I love it. I'm seeing people already taking advantage of the offer. If for whatever reason, like, I don't know when people get paid, but if tomorrow doesn't work at all and you want to secure your spot, email us. We'll see what we can do. Again, like, we want to meet you where you're at. We want you to take advantage of this. I truly think everybody deserves it. And if I could give it away for free, I would. Like, quite
Yeah,
frankly. Well, like,
absolutely.
if funding was easier from the venture capitalists, I promise you I would. But
Right? Maybe
yeah,
some
maybe
maybe
one day.
someday. But yeah, to Meha's point, I'm seeing like some chatter around like excitement and like super happy for you all to get in there and get started with this. But also like there's some individual like questions and individual situations there. Please reach out to concierge@silkandsonder.com. I promise they're all friendly, they're all warm, they're all nice. They all want to work with you to make this experience possible in whatever way that they can. So please don't hesitate to reach out to them.
Perfect. And thank you for joining me again and letting me share my excitement. I care about all products at Silk and Sonder, and this one just feels like a full circle because it makes me feel like my really hard computer science degree was worth it because I'm able to dream up these types of things and make them happen.
Totally. So, well, thank you all so much for being here with us and spending this time learning a little bit about what this amazing passion project looks like and spending time with Meha and I. We absolutely loved being here with you all. So, until next time, we'll see you
Thank
all in
you.
Sonder Club. Be good to each other. Bye,
Bye, everyone.
everybody.